West for us is grounded in countries like America, in Europe, in the United Kingdom, countries who have historically not only innovated. Silicon Valley is a great example of the hub of innovation for decades now, that has made it easy for entrepreneurs to come up with breakthrough ideas, dreams, have wild imagination, and have the support system to help them turn that into some sort of a commercial venture. And the Silicon Valley mindset of just doing it, making it happen, experimenting, networking, sharing with one another, giving people with ideas the room and space with capital to realize those ideas, with a lot of capital, in fact. The venture capital world has sort of been born out of there as well. That entire fabric of thinking, the Silicon Valley thinking model, has been the underbelly. In the iceberg, it's sort of been the core foundation block of what's made the biggest companies become successful. The big startups, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Apples, and in today's age, Lemonade, TransferWise, companies like Darktrace, companies like Zscaler, and the list goes on and on. These are companies that have made a mark, have changed the way we do what we do in business and society, have disrupted the way we do what we do in industries, and created new business models. That's been the sort of leading light for the West when it comes to innovation, looking at the Valley. The Valley's practices and belief systems and attitude has also, been drip fed into Europe and the UK. And we've seen the result of that in the UK, for example. In the last a couple of years during the pandemic, nearly 100 unicorns were born in the fintech space in the UK alone. And the European markets have seen similar upside. So the cultural changes that have happened, where young companies have been given the opportunity to take their ideas and turn them into big businesses with the support of the wider ecosystem, where failure and experimentation is accepted, not just tolerated. That is what the West and digital has been about, really, the positive side of it for a number of years. On the enterprise side, the big company side, the West has also had the big, huge companies, the large enterprises. In the old days, these enterprises were more traditional, less technology based. So you had ExxonMobil, you had Johnson & Johnson, you had Kodak, companies that weren't traditionally, as we know, tech titans to be today. They were companies that provided other products and services. P&G, for example, the CPG company, and so on. Over the years, because of the information age and the transformation we've seen with technology, those companies have gone. They've died or they've faded away, like BlackBerry or Nokia and Blockbuster, to name a few. And new companies have been born on the back of the digital revolution. These large enterprises employ a lot of people, though. In fact, they create jobs. They give people wages. Those wages allow those people to buy stuff and keep the economy going, and keep the consumer index running, and keep the GDP moving in the right direction, moving north. And so these large enterprises have been a core part of the story of innovation and growth in the West as well. And we cite a lot of these companies, usually in the S&P 500, these big 500, Fortune 500 companies are, the companies that you look up to and admire, because they drive industries, they drive growth, they drive innovation, they drive employment, and so on and so forth. Again, digital has changed the dynamic of what's happening in the West, and the entire rules of the game have changed. So these companies, for example, today are tech titans. They are the organizations that have been born with digital, use digital, live digital, have the economic model that runs on digital. They hire coders, they hire data scientists, they sell data, they sell software, they sell hardware. The entire value proposition, the product set, the kind of talent you have in these technology companies is different now than it was 15, 20, 25 years ago. And therefore, the thought process on how a company grows and then how it eventually impacts GDP and the economy has also changed. So over the last 15, 20 years, these tech titans, as they've been born, have impacted the West positively and have created a new benchmark in how technology is changing economic structures. It's changing the way government looks at itself and looks at the rest of the world, how intelligence is received, how privacy and data are structured and gathered, for example. And that's been great. That's been fantastic. That's been the revolution that the information age has brought us.